Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I'm your host, Rose McNair. So nice to have you with us today. And something very exciting is happening today in that we are hosting our first masterclass here called The Mind-Body Connection with coach and hypnotherapist, Aaron Ellis. Welcome, everyone that's in the chat, in the recording currently. Sorry, got that messed up. But Aaron, how are you today?
I'm good, Rose. Glad to be here, and thanks for everybody that turned up today. We've got an interesting masterclass today. So we're going to be going through self hypnosis, but we're going to be doing it a slightly different way. So just a few things before we get started. We just need to make sure that everybody's in a nice, comfortable position, and that you're in a safe position, and that you're not going to fall off your chair when you go into a trance or anything like that. So just make sure you're in a nice, safe position, generally quiet. And I'm also going to get you guys to, if you can, get yourself a piece of paper now and a pen, because we're going to be writing down a couple of goals just to start the whole process off. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes just to get a pen and a piece of paper. And while you guys are doing that, so the purpose of today's class is to learn how we can go inside ourselves and talk to our unconscious mind. Because as we know, often consciously we set these goals in our life. We want to do this, we want to do that. But then we come up to try and achieve our goal, and often things come in our way, fears, not knowing things, and we tend to not achieve our goals. And often this comes from our deep subconscious, from things that we've learned over our life that slow us down. So our first goal today is to actually be able to start to talk to our unconscious mind. So first of all, how do we start to talk to our unconscious mind? So in our everyday life, there are things that are happening in our body that we're not aware of. We're blinking all the time. We smile. We have facial expressions, and there's things that we're just not even aware of that is going on by themselves. And when we actually start to find these things that we're unaware of, we can use these to actually go inside ourselves and start to talk to our own inner conscious. So we're going to start by, what is the difference between meditation and hypnosis? So in my eyes, they're both very similar, except hypnosis is meditation with a deep defined purpose. We tend to have, with meditation, we often go in there we have defined goals, but it's often to let things go, to get a more peaceful state. Where with hypnosis, we're actually trying to get in there and we want to actually communicate with the parts of ourselves that we're not normally talking to. So this requires us to focus attention. We can be relaxed, but it's not necessary. We can close our eyes, but once again, it's not necessary. But we find that by closing our eyes and being relaxed can actually help you get rid of the visual distractions and help you can go deeper inside. So if everybody has got their paper and pen ready, I want you guys to just start with writing down 3 goals that you want to achieve. And I'm not worried about how they're written, just 3 goals that I want to achieve this, I want to do that. And I just want you to write those 3 things down that you want to achieve. Now, do we have anybody that wants to share what some of their goals are?
Well, there isn't anything in the chat at the moment, but let's have a look and see. Yeah, I can, yeah, you can unmute yourself if you want to say something. Anyone? No?
So they can be business goals, they can be sporting goals, they can
Mm,
be absolutely anything that you want to achieve, or something that you've been wanting to achieve and it hasn't come about.
yeah. I think we've got somebody wanting to say something. Is it you, Dion,
Dion?
that unmuted yourself?
Yeah. I'll join any chat. So I've just set myself a goal on here as one of my goals to have a bank account that I don't need to continue to look at week to week, to be the best version of myself for me and for my kids, um, and to live a life with a little more adventure.
Yeah,
Excellent.
nice.
And they're really good goals, because having a goal such as that, something like I just want to be a millionaire, or I want to be rich, it's it's very fluffy and it doesn't have any consistency to it. We're saying something where I want to start a business and become a millionaire, or I want to become a better person for my children. These give reason and purpose to the goal. So thanks for sharing that, Dion.
Yeah, yeah. Can I share one of mine?
Of course.
I'm looking for ease and flow in my life in terms of financial abundance and good health. So that it comes easily and it flows continuously. So that's my two of my goals. Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. Now, from these goals that we've written down, I want you guys to write down what you think, what's stopping you from having that right now. What emotions, what feelings and thoughts that come across when you think about being able to achieve this. Is there any thoughts of unworthiness, self-doubt, overthinking, not sure how to do it? These are the type of things that we want to realize is why don't you have that goal now? Okay, so while you guys are just writing that down, these are going to be coming a little bit later, but I need you guys just to get them in your mind now. So, Rose, what's something that is stopping you from having what you want to achieve now?
I'm going to say mind blocks, and I know that's just two words, mind blocks, and it feels like and it really is, because I don't even what's stopping me is something that I have a block about, because I've done a lot of work to remove them anyway, and so here I am feeling still stuck.
Excellent. Does anybody else want to share one of their what's stopping you from having that? So we all know that we've got these goals that we want to achieve, and we know that we want them and we'd like to have them now. And we have these doubts and we have these different thoughts regarding what we want to achieve. So I just want you to put this in the back of your mind now. And first of all, what we're going to do is we want to find an unconscious moment within yourself. So what that means is that you're going to be closing your eyes for 1 minute. And I want you to find within yourself something that was going on that you weren't aware of before. That may be something like a buzzing in the ear. It may be tingling in the fingers. It may be something completely random. So I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute, and I want you guys just to close your eyes, and then you're going to scan your body and find something that was unusual that you didn't know was there before. So I'll start that timer now. Okay, everybody come back. Now I'd like you guys to share, what did you find? Rose.
Yeah, I just found that I felt the pulsing in my my left ankle that I didn't realize was there. Just like this, pulsing.
Pulsing in your left ankle.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah.
And you weren't aware of that before?
No, definitely. I don't think I have
Excellent.
any. You would never think you have a bit of a heartbeat in your ankle, would you? So there you go.
Definitely. Dion.
Yeah, I had a tingling in my right leg underneath my knee.
Tingling under your knee?
Yeah.
Beth, do you have anything to share with us?
I had a bit of a hum happening just in my ears and a real throbbing toe.
The throbbing toe and a noise in your ear.
Yeah.
Excellent. Catherine, do you have anything to share?
I could feel tightness in the back of my neck and then a bit of a buzz in my chest.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys can all just mute yourselves again. So what we found here was something that was unusual within our body. And now we can use this unusual sensation to go deeper within our body, because that was an unconscious thing that was happening by itself. So what we want to do now is we want you to close your eyes again, and we're just going to go for 30 seconds. And I want you to find another unconscious moment that you weren't aware of before. And we're just going to go for 30 seconds. And you may even find the same one. There may be something different. And coming on back. Now, just give me a nod if you found something different, something else happened. Brilliant. So we start to notice that the more we close our eyes and we start to focus on our internal processes, the more that we can start to go inside. So with general self-hypnosis, it requires you, the person, to allow yourself to be hypnotized. So often what that means is that the hypnotherapist or the person guiding the session can't force anybody to go within themselves. So if somebody is quite stressed and they literally don't want to relax, there's no way you can tell somebody to relax. But by going into themselves and finding something within yourself, it starts to slow down your attention, you start to focus more, and you can start to go inside more. So now what we want to do is we've found this unconscious moment within our body, a couple of different things. And now we want to see if we can communicate with the unconscious. And we're going to do this by getting back to that, closing your eyes and finding that unusual feeling. And I want you to tell your unconscious to increase it, to make it more, to move it, to do something with it. So I'm going to set that timer again. You guys close your eyes. Find that unconscious moment. Coming on back. Now, when we ask the unconscious to do things, it doesn't always listen. What did your unconscious do when you told it to do more of what it was doing, Rose?
It paused. It didn't actually do it initially, but just kept staying in it and then had a response. So yeah, I think it was like almost like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yep. Anybody else have anything to share with us? Yeah.
I had some random thoughts about my daughter who's traveling. Like I was
Some random
feeling it,
thoughts?
and then I was being pulled away, and then I came back to it.
Yeah. So what we're often finding here is we found this unconscious moment that was going on that we didn't realize was happening. And then we've tried to say, let's do more of what you were doing. And the unconscious has gone, no. And why is it doing that? Well, when was the last time that you had a deep conversation with your subconscious? It's been there the whole time, doing its thing, and we've been ignoring it. And now that we've decided to get in contact with it, it's a little bit annoyed, and it's like, well, I'm not going to do that yet. But there's tricks that we can do to become more friendly with this unconscious part of ourselves. So we often find that using lots of words, the unconscious doesn't like. So if we're just going to go back into this state now, and I want you to find that unconscious moment, and all I want you to say is more, and just see what it does. So let's go 30 seconds again. Close your eyes. Find that unusual feeling. And just say more. Just do more of what you're doing. Slowly bringing yourself back. Now, did we have any more success with using simpler words?
Definitely.
Definitely. So we've got to think that our unconscious mind is like a child. It uses very basic language. It sees things in black and white. There's no reasoning. It just does what it does. So if we can start to get in there and we can start to communicate with it, start to get it to do more of what it wants to do, and then it becomes like riding a bike. The more that we get in contact with this unconscious part of ourselves, the more that we build a relationship with that unconscious. And once we start to build this relationship, then we can start to get genuine feedback from that. So today, we're going to go through the whole process, but it may not work as well as you would like because this is the first time that you've tried this. But that doesn't mean that it's going to work. It's not going to work, sorry. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to go back inside your body for a moment, and I'm going to put the timer on. And I want you to find that unconscious moment, increase it, and then I want you to tell it something else. Just say, give me something else. And the idea is for you just to be able to pick up on another unconscious moment from that first one that you have increased. So take your time, put about a minute on the timer. Let's go. Excellent, and slowly coming back. Now, we're also noticing that it's becoming harder and harder to come back each time after you've closed your eyes. You tend to feel a little bit more relaxed. You're starting to go deeper within yourself. Now, what reactions did we have with that? Did the unconscious listen at all? Were you able to create another sensation? Yeah, we've got a few nods. So this is good. So this means that we've started to make contact and that we're in there now. So what we want to do now is we want to start to ask this unconscious mind some certain things. So first of all, what I want you to do is we're going to, for 1 minute, I want you to focus on this unconscious moment and just increasing it more, more, more. Then after a minute, I'll say the next part, and I want you just to drift, coast, just let everything go once you've already focused on this internally. And then for this next minute, we're just going to see what happens. So if you're ready, close your eyes. This first minute, getting comfortable, finding that unconscious moment and increasing it. And now drift. And bringing yourself back. So how did we find after we'd increased this unconscious moment? And then what happened at the moment when you started to drift? Have you got any feedback, Rose?
Yes, when I started to drift, I was taking myself thinking about other things, but I just sort of brought myself back into the, drifting, just drifting. And I just felt, apart from the intensity of that spot, I felt something different happening on the side of my ear again. So I don't know if that's the right track. Sorry.
Yeah, there's nothing right or wrong with the unconscious. It'll give you what you need. Anybody else got anything to share? So we find that what we're doing here is we're creating trance by going inside and finding an unconscious moment. And as we focus on this unconscious moment, we start to increase our focus within inside of our body. The more that we start to focus inside of our body, that we start to get rid of the external world and we start to go inside. So once we start going inside, this is the process of self-hypnosis, of when all of your tension is within inside of yourself and you're not thinking as much on the outside world. So how can we use this? So we want to go back in and we want to find an unconscious moment again. But this time, I want you to change the instruction. Because all of these unconscious moments, we need to get it to listen to some minor instructions so then we can give it the bigger instructions, such as our goals and what's holding us back, so that we can make progress. So for this next minute or so, we're going to close our eyes and I want you to find something. Slowly coming back. Are we having any more success with our challenging our unconscious to do different things, to move things? Yeah. Excellent. So now that we've got this, we've started to get some communication with our unconscious mind here. And we could say that we're almost introducing ourselves again because it's been so long. So now we want to allow this unconscious moment now give us some information. So how we're going to do that is we're going to find our unconscious moment. Then we're going to make it grow by increasing it, just using those words more. And then we want you to state one of your goals. And I want you to state your goal about 10 times. And then after you do that goal for 10 times, you're going to just coast and see what comes back. So what we're doing here is we're reminding ourselves we want to get inside of ourselves and really start focusing on what that unconscious moment was, giving all of your attention to it. So I'll get you guys to close your eyes now. Find that unconscious moment and make it grow. You can make it grow for 30 seconds or longer. Just notice when it's doing something that you want it to do. State those goals. And drift. Slowly bringing yourselves back. Just give you a little bit of time to come back. Okay, so what was our feedback after we stated our goals? And then did our unconscious mind give us anything feedback? Has anybody got anything to share?
Are you referring to like physical feedback in the body, or like you're thinking like mental sort of?
I just mean feedback after you stated those goals, and then you just what did your unconscious give you? Did it give you a feeling, a thought, or?
For me, I felt really empowered. Like I was visualizing the goal, so I felt a bit of empowerment by it.
Brilliant. So this is the first part of being able to communicate with our subconscious to install our goals. So just by doing this process for 5 minutes in the morning of finding an unconscious moment, going inside, increasing it, and then stating your goals, the subconscious becomes more familiar with that goal, and your conscious process and the subconscious process start to come together. And then after a while, you start believing that you can achieve these goals. So this is the first part of setting these goals. So, Rose, were you able to get any feedback from that one?
Yes, I'll tell you first though. I'll mention Dion's feedback. He said good little ideas from the subconscious. Because he's been putting information in the chat, and you also had a bit of an experience. You said something about went a little bit haywire sometimes in the chat, Dion.
Yeah. When before, when I was asking it to do more, and then the feeling grew, and then when I was asking to, like, when I went on with the drift, it sort of took me on all sorts of different areas that I wasn't expecting to go on. So I think I definitely need to be more structured with the instructions I give.
Yeah, like
Definitely. Yeah, so it's always just important to keep the goals in simple language, and also just with your increasing those unconscious moments using simple language of just more, move, do what you're doing, that sort of thing. So excellent. Thanks, guys. So now we want to start looking at the knots. So we've started to get in touch with our unconscious mind, and we've started to install these goals. And we can often feel good about those goals if they've already started to be seeded in there. But often we'll put these goals in, and then instantly we feel that there's some conflicts there. Like, I really want to do this, but, and these buts come up. So these are the knots. So what we want to do now is, these knots are, we could say, they're the subconscious thoughts that are protecting you from being what you want to be. And you say, well, why would it be protecting me from being more wealthy, being more financial? It's because we have a certain identity at the moment which we identify with. And often our subconscious is scared of losing that identity. So we think that, well, if I start getting richer, or I start losing this identity of who I am. So we need to not only change ourselves on the outside, but we want to get our unconscious minds and our subconscious on track. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and we're going to find one of these unconscious moments again. We're going to increase it. We're going to make it grow. And then I want you to state one of those conflicts 10 times. One of those conflicts that you mentioned that was holding you back from getting those goals. And for Rose, it was just certain blocks. For everyone, it's going to be their own thing. Then after we state these conflicts for 10 times, we're going to coast again and see what the unconscious gives us. So once again, I'll get you guys to close your eyes, find that unconscious moment, and make it grow. And you should be finding this is getting easier the more that you practice. Make it grow. Now ask the unconscious mind, why do I feel like this regarding my goal? State that conflict 10 times. And now it's time to coast, to drift. Bringing yourself back slowly. So the knots, the conflicts, we're hoping at this stage that the unconscious mind was able to give us some insights. Sometimes these insights will happen immediately. Sometimes these insights can happen over the next hours, few days. But the most important thing is that we've started to go in there and we've started to talk to the unconscious and started to get some reasoning for these conflicts. So, Rose, was there anything that your unconscious provided you regarding your conflicts?
Um, I don't know if you noticed this, but I keep yawning. And that's just, it's sort of making me feel very sleepy, this process. So I just wanted to add to that. I asked the question and I drifted, and I'm having some weird sensations in my head through this process. It's almost like distractions to get to the answer. You know, it's like the mind is working like that. That's just basically what I'm finding. But so I asked the question about why I have these blocks, and I drifted and I got the answer. You have a mindset. And then I started to feel and hear, we're working on this mindset. It's going to, we'll figure out what it is. And so that's what I got. So I believe that we crossed over something here, because I've not done this
Fantastic.
before. Yeah.
That's good. You've made connection with that unconscious.
Yeah.
And remember, as I said before, that if we ignored someone for such a long time, they don't listen to us straight away. And because this is something that we didn't even realize that we can even communicate with our subconscious. Often we're repeating affirmations, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that. But if we don't open the door to the subconscious, it's almost like just knocking on a locked door and we're screaming through that door, but nobody's listening. So through this process of finding these unconscious moments, going within inside ourselves and inducing our own trance, we're starting to get in touch with that inside part of us. So now, and obviously we could do this with the different goals that we had and our different conflicts. So we've only done this with one at the moment. So now what we want to do is I want to call it, it's called the hypnotic blitz. So you're going to go in and you're going to find this unconscious moment. You're going to make it grow. And then you're going to vent. And you're going to go crazy. You're going to go, unconscious mind, why can't I do this? And you can just go crazy. So I need you to listen to me. I want to do this. Go literally blitz it, go crazy. And then I'm going to say drift. And then you can stop yelling at your unconscious mind and see what it gives you. So let's go find that unconscious moment, make it grow. Really give it to it. Why? And drift. Bringing yourself back. That was that. Who had an argument with their unconscious mind? Does did it give you guys any feedback at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody want to share anything? Rose?
I was hoping Dion would go first, but okay, I'll say, I got, because I basically told it off as we've been doing, but not really doing it in this process, and I got, trust me, and it's going to change. I'll be there. I'll show up. Is like how I got that, and I'm not feeling sleepy anymore, which is interesting because I think that's what maybe I go to sleep every time I'm calling upon my subconscious mind, or I'm calling upon myself to do stuff for me. Maybe that's what I've been doing. Maybe that's the indicator.
So the point did you get something out of that?
Yes. What I got out of that is that I can fix my thoughts and my situation like very quickly because of how I'm feeling, and because I heard the voice that was saying it's okay, and it's trust me that it's going to be okay. I don't hear that voice anymore. So that means I'm communicating with my subconscious when I do that. So
And it felt good to have that feedback.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it means I have to do more of it. I could hear myself saying, you're going to have to do more of this because you're going to win this. So
Excellent. Anybody else have anything to share, Dion?
Yeah, well, I definitely started having a little bit of a go at the subconscious, and pretty much it was telling me to pull my head in. Ended up telling me that I need to not rely on anyone else on what needs to be done, that I just need to do it, not make any excuses, just get in and get it done. So, don't hide behind anything else.
Was this something new to you that you'd learned today?
I mean, obviously we all know what we need to do, but it's actually getting the strength to push yourself along and do it is the thing.
Definitely. Awesome. Anybody else have anything to share, Beck or Catherine? You guys are good? Okay. So we've started to, first of all, we installed our goals. Once again, the process is we find that unconscious moment. We make it grow. Then we give it some instructions. First of all, the instructions are often goal-driven, what we want to achieve. Then we can use this process to find those knots. And the knots is what we just did then. And the knots are actually the harder thing to untie. So this is why we need to practice and go into this unconscious mind and make this communication. And you'll start to find that the more you build a relationship with this unconscious mind, the more results you'll have, and you'll start to feel more safe and more just more confident within yourself and the decisions you make, knowing that you're not just making these decisions off the top of your mind, you're making them with your whole mind, your whole body and soul. So when we're finding these knots, sometimes you'll go, well, that didn't really give me a lot of information. There was something there. I had a feeling. It doesn't mean that you haven't got any information, because the subconscious mind communicates in images, sounds, thoughts, and feelings, as we know. So sometimes we may get a feeling and we may find, what does this feeling mean? For example, some people may confuse with a bellyache with being anxiety, saying you're being anxious, when really it's just the feeling of something new and when there's some excitement coming up. So understanding what the body's doing and why it's doing can make us feel a lot better. So what we want to do now is we want to find one of those goals that you didn't do before. I'm not sure if you guys did all of them or one. Just pick one of them. And we're going to go through this process one more time. And so first of all, I want you to go inside and find an unconscious moment. And it can be totally different to what it was before. It doesn't matter. But you just go inside and make it grow. So let's start with that right now, picking one of those goals. Find the unconscious moment and make it grow. And then once you've felt that it's listened to you in some way, I want you to state the goal. And notice how you're feeling when you state that goal. Now just drift. Noticing what you notice. Bringing yourself back. Now we should be noticing that after doing this for the last 50 minutes of going in and out, we're starting to be able to go inside easier, starting to find those unconscious moments faster. And we have some success with installing those goals. We had some communication, and that communication can even be, yes, you can do this, or the communication could even be, I don't even know why you're thinking this. And this is a conflict. So now we have our goals. So that same goal, we have conflicts with achieving that goal. So now I'm going to go in again, 1 minute, and I want you to state the conflicts after you've found the moment and increased it. And this happens faster and faster, the more you get in touch with yourself. As soon as you feel that that unconscious moment has done what it needs to do, state those conflicts. And bringing yourself back. So hopefully the unconscious mind started to provide some more information about what these conflicts were. And now that you know what these conflicts are and what these knots may be, let's go in again and let's give it a bit of a blitz and say, why is it like this? And how can I change it? Let's go again. Finding the unconscious moment, make it grow, and then vent. And drift. Bringing yourself back. Now, do we have anybody that wants to share their little experience on just those last few exercises? Rose, how did you go with that one?
Really good, actually. It's interesting because I heard it in the first few, and I heard it again. I heard the word trust, and I think it's about trust yourself. And so I've been getting words and sensations in the body, but yeah, trust is something that I actually have to keep doing this to work on and trust myself that everything's going to be okay, and have confidence that it'll all work out. I'll come together. Because obviously my questions that I put forward, there are three of them. So yeah, it's come up in all of them.
Excellent. And how do you feel about this communication that you've had?
I think it's good because for a long time of these things that I have not been able to overcome as such have kept me wondering, and I've been questioning, but I cannot hear the answer. And now this technique has sort of brought it back to me, and I feel like I've got to go and do more of it, because I need to I'll get more understanding of the why. And maybe sometimes I don't need to know the why, but the answer to what will happen, what to do will happen. Yeah.
Sometimes even the fact of just asking the question with the subconscious will allow it to give us an answer. And that doesn't mean that answer is going to be straight away, but that answer will just start to manifest itself over the coming weeks, coming days, where we may just encounter coincidences which we've actually created ourselves.
Yeah, agree with that, definitely.
Has anybody else got anything to share regarding that last exercise? Beck, Catherine, or Dion? They're all good. Okay, so as you can see, this is a pretty simple process. 5 minutes a day, writing down your goals, writing down your conflicts, going inside, finding something that you weren't aware of before, making it grow. Once we've increased it and we've made it grow and it's doing more of what it was doing, we are in a trance. All a trance is when we're getting our attention from the outside world and getting it very focused towards something. So by focusing our attention on these unconscious moments, it's bringing our attention from the outside world inside us, which is making it a lot easier to go into this trance state, which you can start to communicate with yourself. So the next part was, once we've made this grow and we start giving it some information. So those information, as we said, can be goals, it can be conflicts, it can be any question that you want to ask yourself. So we can use this method not only as we are now sitting in a chair, but you can also use this method before you're going to sleep, lying in your bed, finding something that you weren't aware of. And as you're going to sleep, start stating these goals, and they'll start to go in deeper and deeper. Asking yourself, what's stopping you? Asking yourself, why am I even wanting this goal? What is the benefit for this goal? Why do I want it? So the more that we can ask ourselves, instead of just throwing it out in the air, I don't know why I want to be a millionaire. Well, if we started to say, if I was a millionaire, I could help so many more people. My family would be better off. The community would be better off. So when we give ourselves reasons for these goals, it can definitely help us even more. So regarding this work, this is very similar to the work that I do with my clients, except the difference is the questions that are being asked. So when you're asking the questions from yourself, obviously there's only so many questions you can ask yourself. But when you've got somebody else that's prying into your subconscious mind and allowing you to get these resources from inside, it's a lot easier for someone like myself to ask these questions. So we can do this faster with with a therapist, but this is a very good way yourself of being able to do this, but it just requires practice. So what was, I'll just get everyone just a little bit of what was something that you really got out of today that you learnt or weren't aware of before. And Catherine, do you mind if I start with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of uncovered why as you know, I'm obviously doing this work as well, and I uncovered why I haven't been putting myself out there more. And it goes back to failing at an exam, a big exam, not wanting to feel the shame, like what if a session doesn't go right, you know, and what if I fail, that I'd feel that shame again, and sort of the collective shame of, you know, the whole school knew that I'd failed this exam, one of the final exams, and it's huge. So yeah, it was cool. Thank you.
And did you get any insights out of how to overcome this?
Practice, you know, do the work, do the practice, because as you know, people say all the time, oh, you're amazing, thank you so much, but if you have subconsciously this belief that, yeah, but what if I'm good most of the times, but what if I fail one time when it counts, and then I'll have to feel this shame and feeling like a failure again, you're going to avoid it. And that's how it's been. Like, if people come to me and ask for a session, I'll happily do it and I love it. And then they say, oh my God, that was amazing. And then I'm like, yeah, I should really do more. But then I do nothing or not much to promote it. So yeah, this is huge. Thank you.
Fantastic. Anybody, Beck, what have you got out of today?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, we've got two Becks. Hey, Beck.
Hi. Oh, do we? Right. Sorry, can you all hear me? I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, we can.
I'm just on my iPhone. Yeah, sorry, I got in late. I'm at work and I'd forgotten that this was starting. And yeah, so I've been trying to do that. I'm always questioning, is that's coming through? Is that my subconscious mind, or is that just normal thoughts? And, you know, like I instantly start questioning what I'm hearing. But I think what I was hearing was, you are whole already, like you don't need to create, you know, like this fear that's holding you back is because of this thing of putting myself out there and not and being scared to do that because I'm not complete yet, and so I shouldn't, you know. Yeah.
Well, you'll be able to see the full replay when we're finished, which will give you a bit more of insight just to that starting. But I'm glad you had
that
some
would be
results
great.
out of
I'm
that.
definitely gonna look back on that. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And the other Beck.
So my ongoing issue is negative looping, self-doubt. And when I started having that argument to, I don't know, get some clarity, there was no feedback. It didn't really argue back with me. Like it's I don't really need to have these self-doubts. They've got no place. They've got no weight. They're not helping me. So I felt like really calm. It didn't, consciously I would spiral and keep escalating with self-doubts, but it was just quiet. And then when we went drifting, it was just pleasant.
Fantastic. So you could almost say that your unconscious was saying that it's all good. What are you even worrying about this for? We don't even need to discuss this because
it's
not even
nothing.
worried.
Yeah. There's no fuel to add to it. It's nothing. Let's just let it fizzle out.
That's brilliant. Do you have anything to add, Dion?
Well, I like the learning. Like, it's very good. I definitely think that with this whole process, for me personally, I need to practice more to get better success. I mean, today I've definitely because a lot, like you and I have sort of done a few sessions previously, except like not quite this, but I definitely find that through your guidance, because you are so good at this, I had better success. But yeah, no, it's been good. I've had a few questions come up that I never even thought that, like I'd not even thought about before today. So I've definitely had some experiences I wasn't expecting.
And as you said before, like if somebody wants to see a therapist or someone that does this professionally, it's a lot quicker. But this is a good way that, we don't need to spend any money, and you can just work on yourself, and also you become better at communicating with yourself. So rather than relying on someone from the outside, which can be really good if we're in troubled times and then we really need someone to help us out. But when we're in a generally good frame of mind and we're feeling good in life, just these little tiny, jumping into your subconscious mind for 5 minutes, having a little bit of a chat, planning on what you're going to do today, finding out what those conflicts are. And you can find that you can actually get a lot of information just by going in within yourself. So really that is the process today, guys. As I said, it's a simple method. And the reason we call it an advanced method is because it's just not generally done. So often with self-hypnosis, it'll be, okay, guys, just close your eyes, take a breath, relax, and you're guided through, which can be very good for some people, but it often doesn't connect to the subconscious mind. It's good for relaxing you and you feel good, but there's no connection there to what we need to connect to. So I hope you guys enjoyed today, and I hope you guys practice what we learned today. So there'll be a replay of this, and I think Rose is also going to put on the YouTube channel.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. And what I might do also is I'll just put a very simple step-by-step of what we did today. Find your unconscious moment, grow it, just those simple things. So I've actually, we could say that we could cut this down to, first of all, having a purpose, then finding the unconscious process, growing that process, then we communicate, then we give affirmations, then we coast, and we get our meaning and our resources through our coasting. And the better we become at this, the more insights we get. So has anybody got any questions regarding today? How they can use this? Anything you need clearing up, or give you guys a little bit just have a think?
So, Aaron, for the benefit of everyone that's going to watch the recording, I just wondered, would you recommend that this, I know you said 5 minutes in the morning, but do you think it's something that would be a good way to start as a regular practice every day? Or can you do this any time in the day?
You can do this any time in the day, but often, just like we do, some people do meditation in the morning to prepare for their day. It's a good way to prepare for your day. And once again, this can be done before you even get out of bed. You can just wake up in the morning and then go, okay, what have I got on today? Find an unconscious moment, grow it, and work with it. So the good thing about having a regular time is you become better at it, and you'll regularly practice it. Where if you're sometimes doing it randomly, you may do it for a few days and then you'll totally forget about it. And by the time you go back to it again, you've lost that communication with your unconscious again. So we want to try and stay in communication with our unconscious as much as we can, to let us know that it's keeping us safe and we've got its back.
Yeah, very interesting. Very good, I think, technique, because we've been learning a lot of various things, but just from today, I can feel like, for example, affirmations don't seem to work for me. And well, they don't seem to work for me, but this, I think, is probably the key. Give up affirmations and do this, because that's communicating with myself, with my...
You can even use the affirmations, but connect to your unconscious before you say them.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
Mm. Well, thanks, guys. Has anybody got any closing words or anything that they'd like to say? I just want to thank you guys for being here. We had 14 registered, and you great souls turned up. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for facilitating today, Aaron. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome back. Great to have you here.
Well,
And thanks for jumping in, Catherine, on the last minute. Appreciate to have you on board. Awesome. Well, over to you, Rose. Thanks for hosting me today and allowing me to share this hypnosis technique with everybody.
well, thank you, Aaron, so much for giving your time. You're so generous to us. I appreciate that. What a good idea you had when you proposed this. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your stories and what's changing for you. And yeah, you know where to find me. And Aaron, I hope you'll come back and do more with us. That'd be awesome. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll catch you next time here on the Great Awakening Generator. Remember that Aaron Ellis has been our guide today, our teacher today. Aaron is a coach and a hypnotherapist, and you can find him where, Aaron? Where can people contact you?
It's easy just to go to nostressnow.com.
Yes, absolutely apt. That's exactly right. No stress once you start talking with Aaron. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll catch you next time. And I'm just going to end the recording. And yeah, take care.
Thank you.